A South Korean court has sentenced the former President Yoon Suk Yeol to life in prison for masterminding an insurrection in his flawed martial law order declared in 2024. Our Moon Hye-ryeon has our top story tonight.
I will now pronounce the sentence. The defendant, Yoon Suk Yeol, is hereby sentenced to life imprisonment.
More than a year after his declaration of martial law, former President Yoon Suk Yeol was sentenced to life in a first-instance ruling that found his actions amounted to an attempt to overthrow the constitutional order. The verdict was delivered Thursday afternoon by Chief Judge Ji Gwi-yeon at the Seoul Central District Court, with Yoon appearing in person as the proceedings were broadcast live nationwide. Judge Ji began by reading the indictment, followed by determinations on guilt or innocence, and an explanation of sentencing reasons before making the formal pronouncement of the verdict. In its decision, the court said it was difficult to deny that Yoon intended to paralyze the National Assembly by deploying troops to seal off the legislature and detain key political figures, thereby preventing parliamentary functions for a substantial period. While the declaration of martial law itself does not automatically amount to insurrection, the court ruled that this case qualified as such because it was carried out with the aim of disabling constitutional institutions. In sentencing, the court said Yoon had directly and proactively planned the crime and involved numerous individuals, noting the enormous social costs caused by the martial law declaration and criticizing the defendant for showing little sign of remorse. It also pointed out that Yoon repeatedly refused to attend trial hearings without a justifiable reason. At the same time, the court cited mitigating factors, including the apparent lack of meticulous planning, efforts to restrain the use of physical force, the absence of live ammunition or direct acts of violence, the failure of most plans, Yoon's lack of prior criminal record, his long career as a public servant, and his age of 65. These factors appear to be the reasons why Yoon was sentenced to life imprisonment as opposed to the death penalty as sought by prosecutors. 7 others were also sentenced, including former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun, who received 30 years in prison, and former National Police Agency Commissioner Cho Ji-ho, who was sentenced to 12 years. Following the sentencing, Yoon's defense team accused the judiciary of applying double standards and said they were considering an appeal, vowing to continue fighting to clear Yoon's name. Moon Hye-ryeon, Arirang News.